Hello, my name is Danny, and for our project, I did Noah. The story of Noah's Ark is probably one of the most famous and well-known stories in the Torah, the Old Testament. Noah's story is told in the book of Genesis, the first of the 5 books of Moses in the Torah. The story of Noah starts on Genesis chapter 6, verse 9, and goes all the way to Genesis chapter 11, verse 32. A section of Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to chapter 6, verse 9, where God starts seeing the sinful ways of man and begins to plot to flood the world, where you see a little bit in Hebrew in this photo over here. God, deeming man unworthy and full of sin, decided to flood the world and get rid of his creation. He told Noah personally that he was going to flood the world, and he told Noah to build a huge ark, big enough to house 2 of every animal on earth and his family. There were about 18,000 different animal species in the ark, and they say that Noah was lost at sea for over a year. And then after a year in the ocean, Noah was said to release a dove to try to find some land. The dove was gone for about a week, then came back with an olive branch, signaling that land was found. The art of Noah and his ark dates all the way back to ancient times, but hasn't really changed. Just showing the animals getting into the ark 2 at a time, or Noah lost at sea. As you can see here, you can see some pieces. There's one from 1846, one from 1675, and another one from 1372. And there's also times where the painter shows Noah and the building of the ark, like you see over here. And most of the early art shows Noah as a deity among men, with him standing out more in the painting than others. As you can see, here's some more paintings. One from 1613, another one from 1851 that shows the dove coming back from the ark with the olive branch, and another one seems like a story of Noah that's circa 1420. So as you can see, the art is kind of all over the place. And which is Noah now, which is pretty interesting, is there's a giant size replica of Noah's Ark in Kentucky. So in 2016, a company named Ark Encounters made a life-size replica of Noah's Ark in Williamstown, Kentucky. And the ark they built is 510 feet, and the interior is fully accessible. And Noah's Ark hasn't really changed over the times in the story and movies. It's always portrayed as a giant wooden ark, which is said to be about 450 feet long, but Ark Encounters built it as 510. Over here, you can see the ark sizes to the different vehicles, ships in our history. You see the Challenger as 184 feet, and the SpaceX Starship at 394. You see that Noah's Ark was a lot longer than all of them. Also, more modern media for Noah's Ark. There's been a lot of interpretations of Noah's Ark through modern day standards like movies, TV, and book. So you can see a 2005 book, Sight of the Sea, The Story of the Flood, and a really good movie, I think, Evan Almighty, a 2007 sequel to Bruce Almighty. There's Evan Almighty starring Steve Carell and Morgan Freeman. And there's also bouncy houses of Noah's Ark. And one thing that I also really liked is this 2014 twist. It's a comic book 2014 twist on the Noah's Ark story. It's really sci-fi and fantasy. The story takes more of a fantasy and sci-fi take, where Noah has to defend his family and ark from wicked forces that threaten them. And now I'll pass it over to Jaden so he can tell us about the monster.